And hi, welcome to the stream. Today we are going to do a quick yak-shaving round. What do I mean by this? Before we can actually access everything here, we need to, via JavaScript, we need to make sure that servers who see the URL request the JSON LD document don't get the HTML document sent, but rather the JSON document. And this is what we are going to do today. So essentially, we need to implement content negotiation. Let me give you an example on what content negotiation does and how it works. So essentially the idea is that if you have a request, the browser says which data formats it's interested in, and yeah, and the server can then choose the format it's best suited for. And the problem is Django doesn't support it natively. Funnily enough, Rails is one of the frameworks that does, but that's a side note. In this case, we need to implement it ourselves. So the idea is that we have a request header called accept. It has a set of MIME types. And these MIME types can have, so you can give it MIME types. Something like that. So sometimes, however, a server is more or less a browser can deal with certain MIME types better than others. So you can give them using not a question mark, the semicolon. Actually, you can give each of them each own a queue value, which is then sorted by queue descending. It would also be nice if these and these are lower rated than similarly typed, fully typed MIMEs. So I will give this 1 or a 2, 1 and 0, and both together with the queue. We give us a tuple, so queue and specificity. Why is this important? Essentially, you don't want a web server a request that does this. You don't want it to assume text HTML, which Rails you are doing, but that's beside it. If you have this, essentially not, but rather application JSON. That's what the system is supposed to do, and that's what we're going to implement. By default, the queue is 1. Yeah, and that's what we are going to do. Yeah. So let's pass the MIME list first. which is a string. Default accept is text HTML. Actually, let's not do this. So pass MIME list, and it returns a from typing import typing st dot list of strings, return accept dot split comma map string dot strip. This returns a MIME list, and we want it to be iterable. So that's the first part. The second part is essentially giving it a MIME type. Let's make it a name tuple. We want a q, which is an integer, is a float actually. Has a class which is a string, and it has a type which is also a string. So we want to pass the MIME. So it returns the MIME. So MIME dot split MIME. Then we want the full MIME to be MIME, and config or parameters to be empty. Otherwise, we want to assign both of them. Since we do not care about any parameters except the q parameter in our case, we will now continue to further split this into class and type, the full MIME, and meters we split them by semicolon, and we are going to do this. So parameters is a dictionary. So map there dot split equals lambda s dot split. Let's make it into a lambda, which allows us to do this, and this allows us to optimize it to this, and we want only 2 of them. That way we can make it into params.getQ. It defaults to 1. We want to make it into a float. If it doesn't work, we assume that q is 1. Actually, it's not self, it's CLS. So let's call it mcls and mtip. And now we can make a function key self.q. So specificity is 2. Tip is star, then specificity is 1. Also ensure that this is only 2. Subtract 1 if self.cls equals specificity minus equal 1 return, and then self.q specificity. So now that we have this, we can now put this here. Accept.split by commas. Seal as we want a new class method, and it returns an iterable of mime. So mime in cls.parse mime.strip. And we want it sorted. Is cls.sort key. So let's sort out the commas. This closes this, so this must be in a separate. Let's put this into a more readable format. Like this. Cool. We have now a mime list. And now we do a contains. If not is instant x mime, return false. So the first thing we are checking is CSE in return false. Tip return true, not type tip, like that. And now we can use this to make an intersection. Most suitable type mime requested is a t.iterable mime. So this function takes 3 arguments. Accepted is t.iterable mime, and this returns an mime or none. And what we are going to do is we are going to sort them. So requested is a list of sorted. Requested key is mime.sort key. We will be doing the same with accepted. And what we are going to do is doing a slow version of this algorithm. I don't want to think about any faster ones. So requested for offer accepted, requested offer, return offer, and that's all. So essentially we are sorting by the sort key, and with that we have a basic algorithm to sort out which function should be taken. So first it goes over every request sorted by the sort key. Then we are going over our offered variants, and the first one that matches both of them work. So yeah, each algorithm might not be the fastest, but it doesn't have to be. So what we are going to do here now is we are making a class. Now I need to find a nice API to encapsulate this, because Django doesn't, or Python in general doesn't make it that easy. But what about this? So negotiator. This takes an HTTP request, and you can then do this. And then return n.execute. Negotiate. This would be a nice solution. So let's create a class negotiator. So we need JSON. It uses then that. So nego offers is dict type. Mime is a string. We pass this mime. Decorator function if not inspect. Let's import inspect. Is coroutine function. Actually, let's not. Let's is available. Yeah, cool. Return func. This is a registrator. Self dot offers mime equals func. Return decorator. So async def negotiate. Let's use this as a request. So we want an HTTP request, and this should be a d.callable. It takes whatever. It actually takes no thing, and it either returns a response from here or the available HTTP response. request equals request.headers get accept. By default, we just assume everything. Preferred MIME is another string. And now that's actually not required, because if we get the requests of ** in here, any offer will be contained. Any offer will be accepted, therefore it will take the first one, therefore we do not need this. We just need an ordered list. And since Python dicts are always ordered, this is not a problem. So accept header is this. Pass MIME list accept header. If this now says, okay, I hate this. I hate typing in Python. I hate Python typing. But what gives? So this is a string. We just suppose this is a string. Cast mapping. It's a mapping. Now it doesn't complain anymore. Return my. Now we need to negotiate. So find most suitable MIME. Find most suitable MIME. So the first thing is requested. So MIMEs self.offers.keys. And either it's none. If result is none, we return an HTTP not response. So HTTP response response, and we don't need to have it that far, like that. A status code, status equals, okay. So status equals 406. Otherwise, self.offers result. We need to use the offer because this is in the dictionary. We just run the function. If inspect.is awaitable response is await response. Assert is instance response HTTP response return response. So that's what we are going to do. If it's awaitable, we await the response. Done. That's the negotiator. Now a little bit of testing. And is a negotiator taking a request. Type text HTML. Def render HTML. Dot type application JSON. Def render JSON. Like that. Return await and dot negotiate. Like that. And now we have content negotiation and available. So we have show index. And now localhost 8000. Which directly gives us a value error because of reasons. Copy and paste view, still too large. Better readable. Interactive again. Graph sync. Dictionary sequence has length 1. What's the accept header? Okay, now I'm interested. Negotiator import mime social.negotiation pass mime list. Here's our mime list. Okay, let's split it. And if it's empty, let's see what happens if it's empty. That way it's always empty. This is always this. Let's retry. Hello world from Svelte. Now we go to the network tab again, reload it. Copy value as a fetch. And say we want it as a JSON. Done. How did it respond? With JSON. Awesome. It worked as expected. And now we can continue. So that's content negotiation. So what we can now do is essentially continue with HTML Q0.5 Q0.4. This should give us the HTML. What did it give us? This. That was not what I expected. Q0.4 Q0.5. That's not what I expected. So back to Python. If I manage to run the right command. So this is the wrong order. Now it has the right order. HTML, XML is 0.5, so the next point is rviv and webp. Then it takes XML and then it does everything. And if you remove this, this should move. This is also not what we want. Text XML rviv webp ***. Wonderful. Let's run the server again. Let's see what happens. This returned HTML. This should return JSON. This should also return this is not defined. What does happen if we do this? It I see. Okay. Again. So let's just consider this. mime.parse text HTML in. So why don't you we are the one with higher specificity, so actually offer in request this order. Obviously. So let's try again. Returns hello world and application JSON also hello world. This should take also hello world, and this returns JSON. Cool. So now content negotiation works. This was relatively quick. So what are we going to do next? I think we can call it a day. This is the most important thing we needed to fix or to implement now, to go to the web design stuff, and I'm quite tired now. But this is content negotiation, very easy protocol. You just go over a comma separated list of MIME types, and the parameter q says in which priority is to be used. And so it works better. We also have we define a specificity, which means we look at the stars here, and the most the more specific a MIME type is, the higher the probability is, or the higher priority it will have. Then we have a nice small API which allows us to implement content negotiation far easier than normally. And with that, I'm essentially done with the Yak-Shaving today. So, bye.